In order to illustrate how transcultural German studies goes beyond intercultural Germanics in the interpretation of German literary text, I'd like to take an example from the so-called canon, Goethe's classical drama, Iphigenie auf Tauris. Virlacher himself has offered an insightful analysis of Goethe's Iphigenie. He places the Einstellung zum Fremden at the very center of his intercultural analysis of Goethe's classical drama. And he begins with line 76 of Goethe's play, in which Iphigenie asks Arcus, "Kann uns das Vaterland die Fremde werden?" Orestes' absolution, which Goethe perceived to be, according to Virlacher, der Wendepunkt im Verhältnis Iphigenies zum Fremden. Iphigenia's fate is in Thoas's foreign, fremde, Hand. Virlacher demonstrates the ties between the language of the drama and the legal discourse of Goethe's place and time regarding Völkerrecht. From the intercultural perspective, Iphigenie treats Thoas as a Rechtssubjekt. In short, the dramatist Goethe sanctions a new custom of universal friendship toward foreigners versus, in a nutshell, Ausländerfeindlichkeit. In fact, he goes so far as to claim that as a member of the highest administrative body in Weimar, Goethe sees more clearly than Nathan and his creator, Lessing, dass der Mensch erst zum Rechtssubjekt werden muss, bevor zum Subjekt allgemeiner Humanität werden kann. From a transcultural perspective, which favors Menschenrechte over individual Völkerbünde, Völkerrechte, perhaps it's the other way around. Without a sense for humanity, any such law can only be stated. It's up to the people to actualize it and to put it into action. Unlike Virlacher, one could ask what, if anything, changes by virtue of Iphigenia having passed through Tauris and returning to her own culture. And here I'm going to render a short transcultural reading of the text. What has occurred now that one culture has passed through and intermingled with another? What is the result of that interaction? The drama shows that there's a significant change in cultural practice in the direction of humanity. According to ancient law, King Thoas is required to execute strangers who land on the island. In other words, because Iphigenia's brother, Orestes, and his friend Pylades have dared transgress the cultural border of Tauris, they must be killed. There are two important results of the power of Iphigenia's humanity. First, even though Thoas has the right and the intention to marry the foreign priestess, Iphigenia refuses emphatically and is able to avert a forced marriage, since she maintains, "Ich bin so frei geboren wie ein Mann." Second, Iphigenia and Orestes are successful in convincing the king to let them all return to their homeland. It is the truth of Iphigenia's hohe Seele and the reines kindliches Vertrauen zu einem edlen Mann. And certainly that in itself raises certain problems, not only from a feminist perspective. We can see it's a very complex, multi-layered text. Iphigenia asks the king not to ban them from his land, but rather to give them his blessing. Ein freundlich Gastrecht walte von dir zu uns, so sind wir nicht auf ewig getrennt und abgeschieden. Not wishing to be separated from her homeland, denn ach, mich trennt das Meer von den Geliebten, und an dem Ufer stehe ich lange Tage, das Land der Griechen mit der Seele suchend. These words, spoken at the beginning of the drama, which express the suffering of separation, now apply to the foreign culture. Leb wohl und reiche mir zum Pfand der alten Freundschaft deine Rechte. Thoas has the final word, but it is a word of humanity, of Menschlichkeit. Lebt wohl. Not only has the foreign culture been transformed, all three of the Greeks' understanding, Iphigenia, Orestes, Pylades, has also been transformed. And I'll be getting into the idea of whether or not the development of transcultural mentalities might be something we'd like to think about in our own pedagogy.